to ask if I can record you in California.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah. So, just wanted to ask a few questions. First of all, I guess I should start with Christmas, Bloody Christmas. I understood that it was maybe originally a Silent Night, Deadly Night remake idea. Is that actually true?
Yeah, I was asked to pitch on a remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night, and I wrote a treatment that's pretty much beat for beat Christmas, Bloody Christmas, and the rights holders at that time didn't want to go that far. They said that it was not what the fans wanted. It was too different, despite me being the fan base of the movie. But that's okay because now it's an original movie. So, but I mean, yeah, beat for beat. I actually went back and looked at the treatment after we made the movie, the one that I submitted as the pitch, and I mean, it's pretty much the fucking movie. So
Wow.
that's how I'm going to. Anytime I'm asked to pitch on a remake now, I'm just going to make it so fucking batshit insane that they either agree and I get to make a crazy remake, or I at least didn't waste my time and I have an original movie I can write.
Yeah. Well, that's a good idea. That's awesome. Can you imagine? I'm just thinking about that. I'm like, that's not what the fan base wants. It's like,
Yeah, this is somebody who's not the fan base, so I mean,
yeah, like you are the fan base. I am the fan base. But
yeah,
anyway,
I assure you,
um,
nobody remembers Silent Night, Deadly Night because of the pulse pounding plot. So
yeah, true. So I wanted to ask you, it's kind of branching off from, the topic at hand, but you really just kind of, with especially like starting with Almost Human, you really just kind of went out there and made your films, and I don't know if like you went to film school or if you followed that path or if you just decided you were going to make films and nothing was going to stop you. So I'm just kind of interested in knowing, what is the Joe Begos ethos? What drove you? Um, what
um
is your thing? Why do you make films?
well, it's just what I've wanted to do since whenever I can remember. I didn't go to film school. I couldn't afford to go to a film school. I mean, if I did, it would have been like my local community college, which, I don't know what good that is. I was already making movies in high school and all that stuff. And I don't think even now, my writing is so specific that I don't think I could break through as like some writing some great script that people are going to want to finance. They finance my scripts because they've seen what I've done before.
Mhm.
So like I knew that I wouldn't break through like writing some hot script. So my kind of way was like I grew up loving like Sam Raimi and Peter Jackson and Robert Rodriguez, and the way that they broke in was they just made a movie with whatever they had at their disposal. So I just kept making shorts. And then when I came out to LA, I was seeing features that were being made for, six figures, hundreds of thousands of dollars that were lower quality than my shorts I was making for no money. So
Mhm.
I just decided it was time to figure out how much I could put together between credit cards and friends giving me a couple $100s here or there and just making my movie, because making a movie is gonna that even if the movie doesn't sell or break even, it's like, well, I have this that I can at least use as a way to like attract financiers next time. So I always knew that that was going to be the way that I would do it, just because that was the only way that I saw myself doing it. And it so far it's all worked out. I've been able to get a little bit more money for each movie.
Yeah, that's great. And why horror? Obviously you said your influences are like Peter Jackson, Sam Raimi, Robert Rodriguez. Robert Rodriguez doesn't always make horror films.
Well, that was more
Is
of
it
like just his approach to filmmaking and how he did it. And
okay?
and he was like a John, like I was introduced to Rodriguez through From Dusk Till Dawn, like, and The Faculty, and Desperado, and then that's why I went back and watched El Mariachi. It's like, oh, this guy was able to do this because this is how he did it.
Mhm.
So it was more or less like his how he did things. I do love his movies and I love action movies, but yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn was how I was introduced to Rodriguez.
Yeah. So, is horror where you want to work? The space where you want to work?
Yeah, I'm not somebody who's like building up or using it as a stepping stone. If I get $40 million to make a movie, I want to use it to make like a fucking werewolf movie or fucking something crazy. And I love horror.
Yeah,
I love genre in general. Like I'd love to make um you know I've made sci-fi stuff before. This kind of has sci-fi elements. I like action, but I like adding, I like kind of combining everything. I feel like VFW and this in particular and kind of Mind's Eye are like good examples of horror action sci-fi. There's action set pieces in this that aren't necessarily like, you don't watch a Halloween movie with car chases and explosions. um
true.
but this has it, so like but I am anxious to kind of get back and make another really straight horror movie. I feel like maybe Bliss might be my only like straight pure horror movie. Everything else has some sort of element of sci-fi, whether it's like aliens or telekinesis or uh,
Mhm.
the apocalyptic vibe of VFW. But
And there's kind of like an action component, I think, in VFW
yeah.
too. Yeah. Um, I noticed one thing I noticed, I haven't seen all of your films. I actually went and I looked on IMDb and but one thing I have noticed is that you do like in VFW, you have the young girl who kind of kicks things off by stealing, you know, the drugs. And Bliss is centered around a female character, and Christmas Buddy Christmas also is centered around a female character. And I was just kind of wondering, was that just a coincidence, or is that something that you like to do as a filmmaker?
It's definitely something I like to do. My first two movies had male leads, and I thought that for me with Bliss, I specifically wanted to like do everything like different. Like I didn't want to like I just wanted to like turn everything that I'd done before in its head, like
Mhm.
just the opposite end. And so I wrote Bliss for the female lead, female character, and I really enjoyed that experience of working with Dora and kind of fleshing that out. And I didn't. It was weird because I wasn't necessarily writing like a female character. I was just writing a character that I would have if it was male. I was just writing the character, and I think that the way that that's distinguished is the performer. I wasn't trying,
Mhm.
and that was fun to me to like now have that juxtaposition of us doing that and me and her working and having that collaboration. And then I went back and I did VFW, which was very, we had Sierra as the young lead, but it was a very male driven movie. And
Mhm.
so in order, and going through on Christmas But Christmas, I wanted to do that again. Like, so I like bouncing back and forth like that. And I feel like there's an interesting dynamic to that, and I don't necessarily want, I don't want to have the same character and like leading all my movies. And I kind of want to grow on that. And um, just a nice dynamic, kind of switch it up a
Yeah.
little, have a nice even split.
Yeah. And with casting, how did you find Sam and Riley?
Well, all the supporting roles in the movie come from people that I know or have worked with in the past, besides those two. And the partners at RLJ and Shutter, they were very, they went. A lot of credit goes to them for allowing me to make the movie non-cast contingent, which means I don't need a name to get the movie greenlit. The movie was greenlit. I cast whoever I wanted. So, for
Right.
those two in particular, it's very important that I found somebody who was perfect for the role and could like work in the environment that I worked in. And, I have a very like improvisational, collaborative um, way of directing where it's very specific. And I want people to be in this very specific world and in this very specific mindset. But then within those confines that I give you, I want you to be able to work in those confines to bring your own thing to it. And like, they were having Amy Renee was like a fantastic casting director. She's the casting director on like all Jim Cummings movies and a lot of like really great indie movies. And she just cast a wide net, and I was watching a lot of auditions, and I kind of narrowed it down. Sam was like right off the bat the only one I wanted. With Tori, there was like a handful, maybe like half a dozen that had really good auditions, and then I went on, and the next level I was able to like work with them and go back and forth and like riff with them and kind of perform with them and see where their minds were. And Riley, as we got further into that process, just solidified how good she was. She was riffing on stuff like that would make it feel like it was I had written it. Jesus Christ, I had written it, and she had never met me before, and but she
Mhm.
was filling in these gaps, and also, she's that character is me. Like, there's some like I kind of put elements of me in Sam's character too, but like first and foremost, Riley's playing a very heightened slightly heightened version of me, and she
Mhm.
realized that, as we started working, and was able to like see little things that I did or ways that I would react to things, and Sam was able to do the same. And as we went, it was a really long 2-month schedule, and as we went along, like we were all able to collaborate. And there's a couple scenes in the movie that weren't even written. Like there's a big long dolly shot where they're talking about Black Christmas and Blumhouse and all that stuff that wasn't written. It was just them getting in a car and you see Santa, and we had extra time, and I was like, guys, let's write a new dialogue scene. If it's not good, we can just cut in as late as we want. And like that was
Mhm.
just us, like me, like writing quick beats, and then us like working the scene and figuring it out. And you know, they just they knew what we were doing. They understood we had the same view on what this movie was going to be. Um, and that's a testament to their how good of a performer they are, that they were able to kind of do that and make it feel very naturalistic, and very much an extension of me.
Mhm. And that means that's also good, really good casting because, you have to have the actors who are willing and able to work with you. For that's like most of it is from what I understand. As long as you have the actors who can roll with you, then, things are gonna work out.
Yeah, it definitely goes a long way for sure.
Yeah.
Because dialogue could sound really stupid coming from the wrong person.
Yeah,
I need
it
somebody
could.
who's going to believably, passionately put everything they have on the line for Pet Cemetery too. So
Yep, yep. No, I was watching, I saw the film at Beyond Fest and, at
okay,
the
that's
Legion.
seeing it at that
And
was like in a big packed theater is the way to see the movie. That's what it was built for.
yeah, it was really a lot of fun, and, it kinda is a throwback to, like, the fun and the chaos of, like, the '70s and maybe some of the '80s, like, horror films, like, that just they're just doing their thing, and I also wanted to ask you about because I heard that, you had Travis Stevens mentioned, when he was doing a Q&A at Beyond Fest that, you and he had talked about, filming on 16 millimeter, and I
Yeah.
just wanted to know, what your thoughts are about filming on 16 millimeter, why that's your choice.
Um, yeah, I've been trying to convince all my filmmaker friends to shoot on film for a while, and Travis is actually the only one so far who's actually done it. So, you know,
Mhm,
I was helping him out through the process and all that. But I mean, it's just like it's weird, filmmaking is one of the only mediums or, industries on the whole fucking world where like the technology has gone backwards. And I mean, even a 16
mhm,
millimeter camera, which was considered an introductory camera in the 70s, has more latitude, has more resolution, has more like it's just a scientific fact that it's better than digital no matter what. You could shoot on a fucking IMAX digital camera, and 16 millimeters still has more depth and latitude. It's ridiculous that we're going back and backwards. So for me, like, I just always wanted to shoot on film ever since my first movie. And a lot of people would tell me that, it's too expensive, it's too difficult. Well, come to find out that's all just people who've actually never done it, because it's not hard. It's very, very fucking easy. And it's funny, like before we made Bliss, I had most of my crew watch American Movie, the documentary. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but
I am.
yeah, so like I was like, these guys are shooting on 16 millimeter, guys. I think we could handle it. Like, give me a fucking break. Um,
Yeah.
and, uh, so we went and did it, and yeah, it costs a little bit more money, but I think that the production value and the quality you get out of it is tenfold worth more than whatever that bump in money is. And it's incredibly easy. The stocks and lenses are so fast. It's not like a lighting thing anymore. Um, and I think that stocks and lenses are so fast that 16 millimeter in particular looks to me like independent movies that were shot on 35 millimeter in the 90s or the late 80s looked, which is something I really like. So like I think that there's just an element like where automatically when you watch the movie, it brings it subconsciously to a different level. There's a reason why a lot of some of our best filmmakers still shoot on film, and it's like not even a cocky ego like out of touch thing. It's like no, because it's truly the best format to shoot on. And it's like it's not even about the grain, it's how it reflects light. Like if you watch a movie shot on digital, every single time there's a scene inside, the windows are blown out. That's because digital still can't recognize the high exposure outside versus being lit inside. And it's like we're 10
Mhm,
years into this, guys, and there's a reason why windows are blown out and everything now. Yeah, you throw a 16 millimeter camera up and you're seeing outside the window, like you're seeing the depth, you're seeing the snow. It's like it's just crazy to me that these things. And it's like no, it's not about grain, it's not about it's just in people who say, there are people who, like, if I showed my dad, he wouldn't know the difference between digital and 16 if I fucking put a gun to his head and ask him to tell me. But you know what? Subconsciously, when he's watching the movie, it's making your brain do something where you're being brought to a different place. You're being invested in it a different way. Like, so, you know, and I think that it's true. Like, I mean, I honestly like will 100% say that I feel like Bliss and Christmas Bloody Christmas would maybe not play as well if they were shot on digital. Like, sure, they'd still work, but like that's part of it, you know, and that's just it's just so important. You know, watching Travis's movie, like, you know, there's a lot of movies nowadays, horror movies especially, that are just shot in one location and it kind of just they all just look bland. But you know, you shoot on film and now you need to do everything differently. And now the movie looks like it looks like a real, it looks like a 70s movie and it looks awesome. It looks like cinema. Um, and you know, it's just crazy to me that independent filmmakers are now the ones doing that when, you know, big budget movies are shooting on something that has lower resolution on my fucking iPhone. It's like, okay. Sorry, I went on a rant there, but
No, no, no. I honestly, that was one of the big questions I wanted to ask you about, you know, and then I'll take you back to the film. You know, like I said, I had a great time. It was a big audience. We were all going bananas, you know, the kills were great, you know, so you Christmas Bloody Christmas is just so entertaining. It's like a film that my family used to rent horror movies for Christmas every year, and they would have loved this. You know, they would have rented Christmas Bloody Christmas, and we would have really enjoyed it. So I just, you know, want to say, like, what is it that that inspires you to make something that's just so violent and just so but also so entertaining? Because sometimes people make violent movies and it's just really depressing, but yours is different. You have like this this sense of like fun and chaos that goes along with it that um makes it different.
yeah, well, I think that, you know, I think that comes from like when I make a violent or like, you know, doing death scenes, it's not like I'm building the movie around that or like, you know, all right, I'm gonna make a super gory movie and everything else is secondary. It's like I just like sensationalism and I like heightened reality and everything. So like to me, the cool aspect is like, all right, we're gonna make a Santa slasher, but it's like I don't want the characters to all just be these stereotypes that, you know, that's what I hate is like you watch these movies and it's like all these characters who would never hang out together in real life. They're all annoying.
Mhm.
And it feels like somebody is honestly like they're doing a job like, oh, I'm gonna write a horror movie because that's what's gonna get made. And like and they're like, you know, and they almost look down on like it's like and it's like real life. It's like people don't hang out like these groups of people don't hang out, you know. And then you get the criticism that, you know, not only I get but a lot of other filmmakers get, writer directors, where it's like, well, every character in the movie is the same. And it's like, no, they're not the same. But you know what, every character in my movie is like me because in my life, everybody I hang out with is like me. I hang out with people with similar interests, so they fucking dress like me. They like the same movies as me. They talk like I do. Like we not like I do, but we all talk the same. Like so, I wanted to make a movie that like very specific. It's like, all right, we're gonna make a slasher. I want you to like the characters. I want it to be characters that are gonna hang out. And you know what? I love stoner metal. I love doom metal. I love horror movies. I'm gonna make characters like that who live in that world because when people make characters like that, they're fucking characters. There's like nobody making a movie for people like me. Like there are people making horror movies, people like us, but like nobody was making real deal characters like this. So it's like, well, I want to make a hangout movie and the kills aren't going to be showcased. And you know what the first fucking 40 minutes is going to be? These people hanging out and talking about cool stuff because that is appealing to me. And of course Santa's going to come and kill these people. And then when he does, I want those kills to be fucking heightened. And then like, you know, I want the color palette of the movie to be heightened. I don't want it to look like a normal Christmas movie. I want everything to be fucking heightened. Like, yeah, that house has a crazy amount of Christmas decorations on it. You know why? Because it looks fucking cool. And that's what movies are about. I'm sorry. It's about looking fucking cool. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous that would be. And then if the power goes out, you know what? That's obviously not going to light the house through the blinds next, but you know what? It looks fucking cool and nobody questions it. And it's like, you just have to detract yourself. And it's like, I want every element of my movie to be heightened and cool. I don't want there to be one aspect. I don't want you to like look at one aspect and that's a selling point. It's like, no, I'm making a real movie that like, I love these characters. I love these kinds of movies. I love these people. I'm going to play it dead serious. And you know what? We're going to fucking bring our A game to every single aspect of this movie. Like just because it's a slasher movie about a robot doesn't mean it needs to feel cheap. It's like, we're going to fucking approach this like it's a goddamn, you know, focus features Oscar bait movie, even though the subject matter deems like, so that's just how I approach movies. So I feel like every single element of the movie is going to be sensationalized. It's like, it's like we have an oral sex scene that's like 6 minutes long in slow motion that's super heightened. It becomes crazy, like intercut. Like, how much more sensationalized can you get? Like, and it's like making a reason for everything and making it not just there to be like, we're gonna have a sex scene because it's a horror movie, or we're gonna have blood because it's a horror movie. It's like, no, like, let's build a world where all these things organically happen and heighten all of them, and they're actually there because they're part of the world and the story. You know what I mean? So I guess that's
Mhm.
just how I approach that stuff. So like, nothing, no one thing is more important than the other. It's the collective experience to bring that sensational, dreamlike experience. And I want people to have fun with my movie. I don't want them to like be bored. No, I don't want them to dislike the characters. I don't want them to root for characters to die. I want them to be explaining scenes to their friends excitedly, and like getting their friends to see them. That's my favorite thing, is explaining cool scenes in movies to friends and like exciting them.
Mhm.
And that's the type of stuff I want to
Yeah,
make. So
cool. And I think I might have seen this on Twitter, but I think that you brought up the point where the film "Don't Worry, Darling." I have to be careful because I almost always say "Don't worry, baby" because I'm thinking of the Beach Boys. But um, that Olivia Wilde was going on about female pleasure in films, and you brought up that the only people who actually really are on the good side of having sex are the women in the film, which I thought was actually like an underserved point in certain types of horror films, that women are allowed to have like sexuality and like not just be in sometimes like the Friday the 13th, they're more stock characters. But I think that in Bliss as well, Dora's character was very sexual and unapologetic about who she was.
yeah.
So I think that it's just, I think that you made a good point there. And I was just wondering, did you have anything else to say about that?
No, I just think that I think that there's not enough of that in movies, and I think that it's like, in this movie, that the oral sex scene with when he's going down on her, like, that feels very sexy, and I don't know that that would have felt as sexy if they were just having sex, or she was going down
Mhm.
like, and I feel like very natural. It's a way that like that's how sex organically progresses. Like, it's I everybody enjoys, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think it's almost a nature of like, I don't think that that's represented enough, and it's fucking, I love, shooting like people in very like very highly sensational sexual situations, and like it's part of the art form, and it's like, and then we're using her, like her rise and her arc, her sexual arc, to go with this arc of Santa, and like I just think that there's cool sensational juxtapositions to that, and it's not shown enough. And I think there's a beauty to all of that that's more than just, oh, let's have her take her top off and then we'll just show that like for 20 seconds. But like, instead of building the scene, and like, and I think that that's what drew, when we were doing the scene, Riley was like very comfortable doing it because that's how we were doing it, and I feel like that is something that's underrepresented. And I don't, and it's funny that Olivia Wilde was going around like bragging about that, because I feel like once you see the movie, it's like, well, there's not as much merit to what you were saying as once you watch the movie. Also, it's not true, because there's also guys getting off in the movie too. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that I think it photographs. I like the way it feels and looks, and it's very organic and natural, and that's how fucking real life is. So like, let's put it out there. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah.
Yeah, it seems kind of like, maybe I'm wrong, but like what you're saying is kind of boiling down to is that you take genre, specifically horror, seriously, and you want to build like a realistic world
Yeah.
that you find entertaining, but also you think would not only photograph well, but would be entertaining for other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was about to say, I actually, during that shot with Riley, the sex scene, the just the way you were kind of juxtaposing all the things that were going on, and like the camera's movement. And forgive me because I've only seen this once so far. I'm actually going to go home and watch it again. But it kind of seems like what does it remind me? The camera movement kind of reminded me a little bit of like Argento and Tenebrae with that outside crane shot. But I know you guys didn't have a crane.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering if, and probably am going over here, but time wise, but um, how did you kind of plan that shot out, or was it something that you just kind of worked on once you got on set?
It was kind of loose on set, because obviously it was just me and them in the room and I had a camera, the zoom lens, and like, um, just because I knew that the scene was going to be in slow motion, and I feel like that there's just a sensuality to like having slow zooms and slow pans and slow kind of like, it just, I wanted the camera move to be sexy. I wanted the lighting to be sexy. Like I wanted it all to have a very sensual feel in the way that the camera was like, it's not voyeuristic, but it's elevating what's there, and it's shooting in an artful way, and it's like not an exploitative way, but it's like you're almost like it's giving you like a euphoric feeling like the characters are doing and dragging you in a hypnotic way into that. And so I kind of had the basis for it, but then once I'm there in the room, and you're working with the actors, you kind of start to see maybe where the camera's going to go. But it was always the idea to have it be very slow, but always organically moving and kind of getting closer and moving in with the actors as it's happening, and this same things, and they're both blowing to their head.
Hmm. Okay, well, I think we've got to go, but it's very nice speaking with you. And do you have anything in the works right now?
Uh, I got to finish a small little COVID movie I started that ended up becoming a super complicated ordeal. Of course, knowing me, because I can't do anything fucking easy. So that'll probably be the next movie that comes out because it's almost fully shot, and we have to get back to it
Mhm.
next week. But yeah, so it's like if Gaspar Noé made Brain Damage starring me. That'll probably hit soon, and then I don't whatever somebody's willing to write me a check for. I want to make a sequel to this. I want to make a really gnarly satanic cult movie. I want to make a werewolf movie. I don't know. Whatever somebody's gonna pay for.
There you go.